Welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of college basketball. The second exhibition of this preseason was much more fun to watch as a Boilermaker fan, with D2 UIndy coming into Mackey for a beating. Everybody got in on the fun, and the buckets were aplenty. But without further ado, let's run it. This game went about exactly as you expected it would when it comes to the final score, but the way the Boilermakers got there was actually a bit unique. Certainly not as much domination from the big three, but the points still poured in. It always helps to hold a team to under 50 points, but that was the expectation against a D2 team that went 15-13 last year. This one ended with a final score of UIndy 49, Purdue 92. Let's get into it. This one started off in a much better offensive fashion for the Boilers, and you pretty much knew by a couple minutes in that this was going to be fun to watch, and exactly what this team needed to remind them of what they're capable of. TKR hit his first two free throws, and CJ and Braden both knocked down their first threes, and Mackey was rocking and rolling. UIndy wasn't a complete non-factor on offense for the entire game, though, because they kept it reasonably close for the first 5 minutes until a TKR putback would start a 14-0 run to break this game open, putting Purdue up 25-7 with 13 to go in the first half. We were on track to score over 100 at that point, but we had cool points of our own with some missed threes from Antoine West and Jack Benter that stalled our momentum. That didn't stop us from keeping the ball rolling, as a couple straight buckets from TKR kept our lead in double digits while UIndy finally found their offense. Got us close to a 10-point game with 5 to go in the first half, and I started to wonder when we were going to start getting stops again, but things settled down. That's not to say we didn't have some weird and rough stretches, especially with fouls. You had back-to-back possessions with illegal screen foul calls on Clough and Jacobson, with Jacobson coming in for Clough because of the foul trouble he got himself in, and then did the exact same thing. Regardless, we made it through that awkward stretch, and back-to-back threes and two free throws by Jakari Harris put us back up 18, where the first half ended 46-28. Kings of the first couple minutes of the second half, you knew Purdue was going to jump out quick once again, this time with a lightning-fast 5-0 run in the first minute of the half, and they didn't look back. Lawyer kept up his hot shooting in this one with back-to-back threes. CJ Cox found himself 4 points in a row with a free throw and a three. Jakari Harris made back-to-back buckets and another three. The lead was up to 29 with 13 minutes left. Understandably, it was just clear that UIndy was outmatched, and the Boilers had found their offense again, especially their three-point shot. Only a couple of guys struggled shooting from deep this one, but we'll get into that later. It was great to finally see Antoine West knock down not one, but two threes in a row for his first made buckets in a Purdue uniform. And same with Benter, who knocked down a three of his own with 7.5 to play and extend lead all the way out to 41 points. It was all role players now, and Liam Murphy even got in on the fun, coming in and knocking down his first and only three, so he's sitting at a career 100% from deep as a Boilermaker. His shot looked pure, so I'd really like to see him get a bit more playing time than he has in these two exhibition games going forward. I think we can all say that the night was truly capped, with our walk-ons coming on and Aaron Fine tossing up a nasty lob, and Jacobson cocked back, grabbed it, and slammed it home. An amazing way to end off a super fun game where everybody got involved. The final buzzer sounded with a final score of 92-49. Heading into the top performers, for Purdue, it starts off with Jakari Harris, our leading scorer, with 20 points on a very efficient 7 of 10 shooting, 4 for 5 from 3, 2 for 3 from the free throw line, with 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block in only 18 minutes. Behind him is Fletcher Lawyer, our second leading scorer, with 16 points on, again, a very efficient 4 of 6 shooting, 3 for 4 from 3, with a rebound, assist, and a steal to add on. For Indy, it starts with Carmelo Harris, who had 19 points of his own on 6 of 13 shooting, 5 of 9 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, adding on an assist and, unfortunately, 4 turnovers. Behind him was Sean Arnold, who only had 8 points on 3 of 10 shooting. Not a super efficient night for him, 0 for 1 from 3. He was 2 for 3 from the free throw line, but had 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals, along with 2 turnovers. For the honorable mentions, we actually got to bring up Daniel Jacobson, who had 10 points on a perfect 5 of 5 shooting, 8 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers, and 4 fouls, unfortunately. For Indy, it was Kevin Amoko, who was their starting center with 5 points on 1 of 3 shooting, but had 7 rebounds, an assist, a block, and 2 turnovers. Heading into the key team points, for UIndy, it starts with out of your league. UIndy is a D2 school, and despite them having a couple of real players like Harris, they were obviously outmatched in this one. There's no disrespect towards them. I really do think they have a good chance to get back to winning ways after their 15-13 season last year, but they really challenged themselves taking this exhibition, as do many small schools in the preseason. Hopefully, they got paid nicely for it, and they learned some things to take into their season and into Great Lakes Valley Conference season. Secondly, Carmelo Harris was ballin'. Speaking of Carmelo Harris, he really was shooting lights out in this one. I mentioned his stat line earlier, but 19 points on 6 of 13 shooting, namely the 5 for 9 from 3, is very impressive. And even with his 4 turnovers, he was the highlight of this team. The only player to score in double figures and only one to hit more than 1 3. He has a chance to be a major star for them this season. I can't say Purdue was always playing the tightest defense and making sure not to leave guys open, but UIndy didn't score 50. So the fact that he did that to Purdue in Mackey shows he's got game, and that's going to be important for the Greyhounds this season. Finally, it's stay out of foul trouble. Obviously, there were plenty of things that hurt UIndy in this one, but one major thing that I think that they were in control of was their fouling. Like Purdue, they had multiple player control fouls like moving screens, and they sent Purdue to the line 18 times, where they made 13 of them. When you're playing from behind and trying to cut into leads, the last thing you want to do is bail teams out and give them easy points. They had 18 fouls as a team, with both Arnold and Amoka with 4 fouls apiece, so it just wasn't a great showing in that department. But when you're outmatched as much as they were physically and talent-wise, I understand that's easier said than done. Heading over to Purdue, it starts off with the deep ball, and it is back. For anyone who's actually worried about Purdue's shooters after the Kentucky exhibition, here you go. The Boilers came back, and they came back firing. Lawyer, especially after going 2 for 8 last game, goes 3 for 4 in this one from beyond the arc. CJ Cox hits 2 of 3, and of course, we mentioned earlier, Jakari Harris hitting 4 of his 5. These guys look great out there, both running sets to get open looks from deep or just playing, knocking down shots after 1 more passes, kickouts, and in transition. As a team, we were 15 for 30, good for 50%, which is a whole lot better than 17% from last game. There were only a couple of guys who struggled a bit from deep, namely Meyer, Antoine West, and Jack Benter. Meyer was 1 for 4, West was 2 for 6 after he made his 2 threes on back-to-back possessions, and Benter was 1 of 5. I truly believe these guys will bounce back as shooters as they get more comfortable. West, I honestly think, does redshirt after seeing rotations and how solid CJ and Jakari look, so I don't think we really have to worry about him until next year. But Meyer is getting more and more comfortable, and he hasn't been with the team for that long still. As for Benter, I think he'll also get more comfortable, and his shot really does look pure. He had 1 or 2 that just felt like they rolled right around the rim in this one. Secondly is big-time scoring from the bench. I loved to see all the bench buckets we got in this one. Braden took a complete backseat as a scorer in this one, only getting 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting in his 22 minutes, and TKR ended with just 10. But we didn't need big nights up from either of them. With Jakari's super efficient 20, 10 from DJ on his perfect 5 for 5, 8 from Omer, 8 from West, 5 from Murphy, and 3 from Benter, our bench accounted for 54 of our 92 points. That gives me real confidence in these guys moving forward. I really believe in the depth of this team. We don't need nor will we ask for that much scoring from these guys throughout the regular season, but expect to see a couple of random breakouts throughout the season from guys like Jakari, Omer, or DJ if he isn't starting. That brings me to Clough versus Jacobson. I'm seeing a lot of discourse about these two after these 2 exhibition games, and I understand where it's coming from. In my honest, flat-out opinion, right now DJ is playing significantly better. They both got in foul trouble in this one, but Jacobson looked much more comfortable in his 16 minutes and had a lot more to show than Clough in his 15. Clough even failed to back down and get a shot off in his only back-to-the-basket post-action he got. He had to pass it out. But to play devil's advocate, Clough didn't get to join this team until mid-July after issues getting his visa settled, so he's still learning how to fit in with this roster. I truly do believe he will start to look more comfortable and find his role, his niche, and as the season goes on, but right now, Jacobson looks like the better fit next to the starters and just how he's playing overall, so I'm interested to see if or when Painter decides to make that switch to put him into the starting lineup. Next, it's give Clough an Omer time. Going off of my last points about Clough, him and Omer are very much still getting used to their roles on the team. And I think they'll start to settle in as we get more games under their belt, and they get used to their spots in the rotation, the guys they'll typically play around, and what they're going to be asked for within this roster. Similar to Caleb First last year and years past, let a guy find his niche. For First, it was screening, crashing the glass hard on both ends, and looking for easy buckets in the dunker spot. And then these guys will start to thrive. Clough is not used to playing on a team like Purdue, and even with his year at Washington State, not used to playing this high caliber of competition. Not talking about UIndy here, of course. Omer is still getting used to playing college basketball as a whole, the style of play, and even just living in the US, across the world from home. I beg and plead, give them time. We haven't seen a true normal game from Purdue yet, especially with their offensive sets and rotations, and I believe they're in their talent and their intelligence to find where they can be best utilized for this team and embrace it. And finally, Jakari Harris is different. Ooh, Jakari's really looking different so far this year. He obviously got some extended playing time in this one with 18 minutes, but he looked every bit of the different Jakari we've been hearing about this summer. He looked more aggressive, confident in his shot, and overall comfortable from wherever he was playing from. With the ball in his hands, in transition, running some of the catch and shoot plays that we usually run for Fletch, he was just super efficient in his time, and I really hope that he can keep up this level of confidence. Whether he finds a way into the starting lineup or stays in that six-man role, we will still utilize him plenty. And as I see it right now, I think he fits great in this more offense-heavy sixth-man role in lineups that are a bit more bench-heavy. And him and CJ can be very interchangeable, given they both look comfortable hitting their open threes when they get them around these stars and still being very effective on defense. Overall, I was thrilled with his performance, and I can't wait to see more. But the fun is over, and it's time to get serious. Next week begins the regular season, with Purdue taking on Evansville in their home opener at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Big Ten Network. So make sure to tune in for the first real serious game, even though it's not a super serious opponent. I know, I can't wait. We might just see what a serious rotation looks like for this team, and hopefully a lot more buckets. But that's all I've got for today. It's officially time for the regular season, and with it, many more recaps to come. Comment below your hottest takes to come out of this preseason. I'm interested what overreactions that we all have from these two games. But if you want more from us, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm out.